Hello, hello, and welcome to the Hone Zone. I am your host, Hone Tai, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking all about how to get started in real estate investing. And real estate investing is a great way to create income for yourself and your family, to create passive income, to create assets for generational wealth, and all of those kind of things. The problem is, a lot of people don't know how to get started. It's a scary thing. Real estate investing can be a scary thing, I should say. And the fear comes from when you don't understand what you're doing, when you don't know what you're doing, when there's all of this anxiety of potentially losing money. Now, the reason people want to get into real estate, of course, is so that they can make money, but then there is always that potential of losing money. And so what I figured is I do a short video on how to get started, how to reduce that anxiety, how to also maybe reduce some of the risks that are involved, and so that you can get started. I got started about, I want to say 11 years ago is when I first was interested in investing in real estate. I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And from that point on, I was like, I am hooked. The very first thing I did after reading the book was I called a real estate agent and I said, hey, I'm ready to become a real estate investor. I want to buy properties and yada, yada. The agent that I was working with, they were like, oh, well, let me show you a couple properties. So we went to go see some properties. The problem is, every time I went to go see a property, the agent at the end of the tour said, well, do you want to put an offer in? And I was like, well, you think this is a good property? He said, yeah, this is a good one. Let's put an offer in. And then we went to go see another property and same thing. Hey, do you want to put the offer in? And I'm like, wait, this one's a good deal too? Oh, and the third one's a good deal. And this one and this one and this one. And we just kept seeing these good deals. And I was like, you know what? I'm not yet a real estate investor, but I don't think I'm going to be 3 for 3 like that. Everything that I'm going to look at is a good deal. There was something fishy about that. And so I was like, pause. I'm not going to do anything, right? Because there was that looming fear that I was going to lose money in doing a deal because I don't know what I'm doing. So I took a pause for 2 years. And it wasn't until I stumbled across a real estate course that is no longer taught now, but I'm happy that it was being taught then because that was the prime time for me. That's when I was looking to get started. And I went to this course, and it was in that course when I first learned about the BRRRR strategy. That's where you buy a property, you renovate it, you rent it out, then you refinance, and then you repeat, you do it again. So what that allows you to do, if you guys have never heard of the BRRRR strategy, is essentially you're buying a property and you're able to pull all your money back out, all of it, right? And if you do it right, you can pull even more than what you put in. So you can own a rental property. Not only do you have no money in the deal, you've actually pulled some of the money out. And so you can go do more deals. People say all the time, Hone, I don't have enough money to do real estate. And I always ask, how much do you need? And they don't know. And so then I hit them with, well, a lot of my deals, I don't have any money in the game, right? I have $0 in the deal. So do you not have zero? And they just look at me confused. And that's the part where knowledge can help you get over your hurdles. A lot of people look at things and say, I don't have the money, I don't have the credit, I don't have the time, I don't have all of this stuff, when really they just don't know what they're doing, right? They just don't know what they're doing. But if you knew better, then you would do better, right? That's a common saying. If you knew better, you would do better. We just don't know better. But that's where I am giving you this information now so that you can potentially do better. I don't know if you're going to do better with the information, because information in and of itself is not enough a lot of times. Sometimes you need someone to push you along. Sometimes you need some external motivation. Sometimes you just want to see that it's possible, whatever the case may be. Information is great, and I'm going to give it to you, and I'll give you everything that you need or want. But I wonder, is that going to be what you need in order to take another step? Now, you are interested. I do run classes every single week. So today actually is my next class at 7 p.m. And the reason why classes are important is because it's week after week after week of being in the conversation. Think about your circle right now. Do you have the circle that you need in order to have these conversations, these higher level conversations about financial success and acquiring more assets? Do you have these people that you have really in-depth conversations with? And if the answer is no, then that's not going to help you get ahead. You're not going to get ahead very fast if you don't have these conversations. So I have these meetings every single week, and we get together and we discuss strategies so that we all become better real estate investors. It's incredible what you can do once you know what to do. Most people, they get their advice, real estate investing advice, they get their advice from either they made it up themselves or they asked somebody who bought a house. Those two things is not real estate investing. Just because you bought a house to live in doesn't mean you know how to be a real estate investor. Just because you're a real estate agent doesn't mean you know how to be a real estate investor either. And if you ask your real estate agent friend who is not an investor how to be an investor, most likely they will give you advice. I don't want to say bad advice, but they're going to give you advice that isn't the best advice. It's not going to be the most efficient at getting you to where you're trying to go to. There are many different ways to become a real estate investor, and there's more efficient and less efficient ways. A lot of people think that they have to save $100,000 or $50,000 before they get started in real estate investing. And they wouldn't be wrong if the only way that they were looking at investing in real estate was to put a big down payment and get a loan from a bank, whether it's a commercial loan or residential loan. So you would have to combine your down payment with the bank loan. Well, out of all of the deals that I've done, I actually don't think I've ever done that. Now that I'm thinking about it, wow, I have never put a down payment combined with a bank loan. I've never done that. Huh. Well, so I've never done that yet. Every brand new investor that I meet, a person who wants to become an investor, every one of them that I meet, they think they need to put a big down payment on a house or whatever, combine it with a bank loan in order to become a real estate investor. And yet I'm a real estate investor and I've done dozens of deals and I've never done that, not one time. So it's really interesting how when you're not in the world of real estate investing, you have all of these assumptions, but they're not necessarily good assumptions. They're not good assumptions in the sense that that may not actually get you where you want to go quickly. And if you don't have the $50,000 or $100,000 saved up, a lot of times you just like put your hands up like, Hone, I told you I can't do this. I don't have the money. Yes, if you're trying to get a bank loan to become a real estate investor, but maybe don't do it that way. I don't do it that way. And that's the interesting thing, right? So I'm not sure what's holding you guys back. So definitely chime in, put it in the comments. I can read them right now. And if it's a good comment or question, I'll post it up, but I'll answer them. I don't know what's holding you guys back currently, or if you're already an investor, what's holding you back from doing more deals, right? What's holding you back from doing more deals? Or tell me about how you're currently financing your deals, right? So there's a couple of different angles that I want to take this conversation, but if you guys wanted to chime in, I would love to go down the rabbit hole of whatever that conversation looks like, because I don't know what you need, but I am here to offer the advice for you guys who are interested in becoming real estate investors. Financing is always that big one though, right? Financing is always that one like, oh, I don't got enough money to become a real estate investor. And I understand where you're coming from, because you look at a property, it's going to cost you a couple $100,000. Maybe it costs you $100,000, but still that's a lot of money, right? And people say, I don't have enough money. So then I ask them this question: is it faster to save $100,000 or to raise $100,000? Is it faster to save or raise $100,000? And oftentimes, or just about every time, they say it's faster to raise $100,000. So if it's faster to raise $100,000, why is it that you don't raise the money? Why is it that you go and try to go to work and save the money? Like, when's the last time you saved $100,000? Probably never. And if you've never done it, then why do you think you can do it now? And why do you think you have to do it in order to become that real estate investor? So now, the first comment that we got is, I need to work on raising private capital from investors. One of the things that I do in the training is that I get the investor or soon to be investor to understand that they are the prize. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of money in the world. There's a lot of money in the world, right? I put a little post out there saying that I'm looking for money partners, and I got private messaged from a lot of different people who have lots and lots of money. There was one guy who commented me, Yeah, we have $1 million we need to deploy. I got another message that said, hey, I have foreign investors who have millions of dollars that they can put to work, and they're looking for bigger deals. So right there at my disposal, I could potentially deploy all of this money in all of these deals. So why though? Why is it that I have that opportunity to be able to access this capital to deploy into bigger deals? Well, it's because I am the prize. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean that I am the prize? Well, if you notice, money is not the issue. There's all of this money around. The real issue is there's not enough good operators to put that money to work in a safe way that they feel comfortable with. The people with the money need to feel comfortable with somebody who knows what it is that they're doing with the money, right? So it's funny, brand new investors, they're like, oh, Hone, I don't got the money. When you're an actual investor, you go, I have too much money. There's problems. Everybody has problems. Rich people and poor people, they have problems. Poor people say their problem is they don't have enough money. Rich people, their problem is I have too much money. I have too much money that I don't know what to do with. And the reason you have that problem is because you're a good operator. You understand how things work. You understand the mechanisms within deals. You understand all of those things. You put in the hard work into yourself. You built teams. You understand finances. You understand how to set up things legally. You know how to make things efficient tax-wise. You've done all of that. And because you've done all of that, the money out there in the world sees you as the prize. And so what's interesting is in class, I often make people say out loud, I am the prize. And at first they feel awkward, right? And it's like, come on, I am the prize. And I just keep saying, I am the prize. Repeat after me. I am the prize. I am the prize. And you just keep saying it until you actually believe it, where it is in your heart and soul that you are the actual prize. Because when you go to try to raise money from private investors and you're brand new, you often feel like they are the prize. They're not bad people, but you are the prize, okay? You are the prize because you're going to be taking their money. You're going to do some amazing stuff with their money. You're going to take that money. You're going to give it back to them plus interest, right? So what did they do? Have money. What did you do? Everything else, right? So that's why you are the prize, right? Because you're the operator who puts the deal together with the money, with the teams, as in the property manager, the asset manager, the construction manager, and you put it all together. You increase the value of the property, and then you sold the property or refinanced the property. You did whatever you did to exit that deal and paid them back the money, right? You paid them back their money with interest. It's an amazing thing. That's why you're the prize. But if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how to do what I just mentioned, then maybe you're not the prize yet. Your job is to put that all together. Become that prize. Become that person that other people with the money want to work with. So I have been saying nonstop throughout this whole entire lockdown that in this time frame, what you should be doing is working on your skill sets. This is the gift that we have. We don't have the distractions of going to restaurants and the mall and the movies and all of that kind of stuff. We don't have those distractions. Now, are there other distractions? Absolutely. But we don't have the distraction right now of all those things. So maybe, just maybe, you can take this time to go learn all about how to put a deal together. And when you understand how to put a deal together, you feel so much more confident in putting one together. And then you can present it to different people who have money and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. Would you like to be a part of this? And then they might just say yes. You know why? Because you are the prize. We're going right back to that. You are the prize. You are the prize. I mean, or you can be. Or you can be. That's the cool part. That's the cool part about this whole thing. That you get to recreate yourself too, right? You get to recreate yourself. You get to make wealth out of thin air almost, right? Because if you're taking money from here, you're finding a property over here, you're putting the thing together, and then you go sell it or you refinance or whatever. It's like you just made money out of thin air. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. So I'm not sure what it is that you guys need help working on, but I always think that knowledge is the key to all of this, right? If you don't know what you're doing, and if you don't know even the questions to ask, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage, right? But there's a lot of resources out there. One of the resources is coming to my meeting, and coming to this meeting every single week is important because what happens is it absorbs into you. Your body can only absorb so much. It's kind of like drinking out of a fire hose, right? So the water's coming at you and you can like drink some of it, but you can't get all of it. But let's say that was a finite amount of water. And then you come back next week and you drank at it out of the fire hose again. And you came back next week, and you drank out of the fire hose again. At some point, you will have consumed all of the water, but it doesn't happen over 1 hour training from one Facebook or YouTube live or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't happen in a short amount of time. It happens over the days and the weeks and the months and the years, right? I've been putting work into my brain for years and years and years to get to this point where when I ask the universe, hey, I may need some money to do deals in the future. Who would like to participate with me? And then people reach out. It's such a cool thing. So it seems like it's an overnight success, but it took years and years and years in the making, right? I've been kicking this can down the road for 11 years now. So here I am, and this might be your day one. Well, my day one was 11 years ago. So what, right? Like, start. And in 11 years, you can have your 11th year. But the thing is, you got to start. And it doesn't mean to just jump in and buy stuff. That's probably the worst thing you can do, right? That's the worst thing you can do because this time is very uncertain. You can buy things and then you can sink the whole ship, right? And whatever money you raise, you can lose that money. You can lose all of your money. Your credibility is gone. Your credit's gone. And then you have to rebuild from scratch. And that's difficult. That's difficult. I don't want you to have to do that. I want you guys, when you become real estate investors, you do it right. You build correctly. And then if you build correctly, then you're good. You're good. But it takes time. I want you guys, though, to be impatient with what you're trying to go for. And when I say be impatient with what you're trying to go for, what I mean is I want you to be like, Hone, I am done with whatever it is I got going on, and I want to become a real estate investor like you've been saying for the last couple of years. I want to be that real estate investor. So I want in. Okay, great. Then get in, learn, and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And before you know it, you're going to feel so confident in how to do a deal. Most of us aren't born knowing how to do deals. That's why it's important to learn how to do a deal. It's kind of like flying a plane. You can't just get into the thing and be like, all right, well, I guess I can just pull on the stick and fly around, right? Is that how it works? I mean, yes, kind of. But what are all the buttons? You don't know. I don't know, right? Maybe you should get some training. So the training teaches you what all the other buttons are. In real estate investing, I teach all of that kind of stuff. I got a phone call this morning from a guy who was trying to borrow some money. And he said, Hone, I'm trying to do a ground up new construction on 10 units. There's 2 plots of land, and I want to build 2 5-unit buildings in this plot. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And we're talking a little bit. And I, over the years, have learned how to pick up on whether or not you're brand new or not. Even though he owns a 4-unit, he lives in 1 unit, he rents out the other 3, and he owns a single family home, he is still relatively new. And when he was describing to me that he wants to do this 10-unit, I was like, he's never done this before. And he never told me that he never did it before. He was just like, he started off the call. I didn't even know about his 4-unit or his single family yet. I just knew that he wanted to borrow money to do this 10-unit. And so he's like, Hone, I need a construction loan. I want to do this 10-unit on these 2 plots of land and blah, 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 blah. And then we talk a little bit. And I'm hearing things that he's saying that instant, bing, 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 you're new. You don't know what you're talking about. Later on in the conversation, I asked a question because a 5-unit, like a 5-unit, that makes the 10, that's a commercial property. I asked a simple question. Simple. I'm like, what's the cap rate? What's the cap rate on these properties? What are you using for cap rate in this area? I know the area very well, by the way. And so I'm like, what's the cap rate? He goes, well, the rents I'm going to be collecting are this, and this. I'm like, yeah, but what's the cap rate? He's like, all right, to be honest, I don't really understand cap. I don't get it. Maybe we could go to lunch or something like that, but I don't understand cap rate. I'm like, This is very important that we're having this conversation right now, because imagine you said that to the bank. Imagine the banker asked you, "Hey, what's the cap rate?" And you were like, "What's a cap rate?" I was like, "You probably won't get the loan." And this is why education is super important, because it's going to get you where you need to be in order to get you the things you need in order to get you to where you want to go. I'll say that again. The education is going to get you what you need in order to get you what you need in order to get you to where you want to go. So he wants to be a big time real estate investor. He wants to do commercial properties, multifamily, and all that kind of stuff. This education is going to give him the knowledge that he needs in order to have the conversations with the bankers who are going to provide him the loans that he needs in order to buy the real estate. You guys get it? So little things like that will trip you up if you don't know. And the thing is, you may not even know you need to know it. And that was just a little test. I already knew he didn't know. It was just a hunch of mine. And then I was like, "Huh, you've never done this before, have you?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Well, it's highly unlikely you're ever going to get a loan for this if you've never done a new construction build, right?" So he's like, "Okay, how come?" I was like, "Well, the construction is the most risky part of any deal." And he says, "Really? Why? Why would that be?" I said, "Well, let's talk about it. You don't even know if the land is a brownfield or not. I bet you may not even know what brownfield means." And then he's like, "Okay." I was like, "And then you have to install the utilities. And so you might get hung up by the city, L&I. You may even get hung up by the contractors who install it themselves. And then as you're building, you don't know what other things you're going to run into as you're building. And all of these things just compound it." And he was like, "Okay, I guess you're right." Because when he called me, he said, "I want to do this new construction because it is the absolute best in terms of layout." I said, "Yeah, that may be true." But he was saying it more so like doing a new construction. That's the best way to do investing. I said, "Well, I can introduce you to 100 people who disagree with you, 100 people who are real estate investors now who would disagree with that. New construction is a way to do it, but to say it's the best way, I mean, you've never even done it. How do you know?" But anyway, we all have situations like that in our life where we don't know things, but we try to fake it till we make it. And I just invited him. I invited him to the class, and he saw the value. So hopefully he comes to the class, and you guys can come to class and learn. It's tonight at 7:00. It's scrolling at the bottom right there. If you're interested, register, and I will see you tonight. And it'd be good if you brought your questions, if you brought whatever's hanging you up, or if you're already a real estate investor, I'd love to hear what you're doing. I'd love to hear what you're doing and see how to get you to the next level. Or if maybe you don't even want to do what you're doing anymore, right? So like maybe you're doing fix and flips, or you're doing wholesaling and you want to do rentals, or maybe you're doing long-term rentals and you want to do short-term rentals, or if you don't want to do any rentals and you want to hold notes, or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you want to do, you could pivot. But a lot of us don't know how to pivot because we don't know the components of pivoting. Maybe you just need help with raising private money, right? That seems to be a hot topic today. Maybe you want to learn how to buy more properties using creative financing, using subject to or seller finance or lease options or anything like that, right? So there's all these different ways to acquire properties, all these different ways to raise money, all these different ways to invest, be in the industry. You can do so many different things, but if you don't know what's on the menu, you can't order it. All right. So maybe we start there. Maybe we start with what's on the menu. Maybe we talk about all of the different ways to invest. Maybe we talk about class A, B, C, and D. Maybe we talk about wholesale, fix and flips, buy and hold, be the bank. There's all of these different things that we can talk about, and there's all these different combinations of all of the things. So with that, I think that's enough. Hopefully you guys picked up something in this conversation. There's a lot to learn. There is. And once you begin investing, there's going to be even more for you to learn. And it never stops. And it's okay. It's good that it never stops. It actually is. It's good that it never stops, because this is a journey. This is your life. This is the game called life. If you are done, and you could be, you can like, Hone, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to become a real estate investor. I've learned everything that I need to learn. Great. Guess what? Your life is going to be exactly what it is, like it is today, every single day, until bad stuff happens, and then it's going to get worse, and then you're going to recover from that worse, and then it's going to be flat line again, and then it's going to be worse, and then you're going to recover, and it's going to be a flat line again. And that could be your life for the rest of your life. That's not the life I want. The life I want is where I'm growing and growing and growing, and progress is happiness. Like, it's just growing and growing, because that's the game I want to play. I want to play this game where I'm continually focused on building myself and becoming more successful, learning more, being better, and seeing what life has to offer. That's the game I want to play. Hopefully you want to play that same game. I'm not sure. But I don't want to play that game where it's every single day. It's like, I've learned everything already. I'm just surviving. I am just surviving until the day I go into the ground, because a lot of people are living that way. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. A lot of people are living where they're just waiting for themselves to die. They make enough money to pay their bills from working at a job that they don't like, and that's the reality for most people. And right now, you may not be working, you might be on unemployment, but that's going to end, and you're going to go back to a job that you have to work at, and you may not like it. I don't want that. I don't want that lifestyle. I don't. And I don't think you do either, but sometimes you don't know what to do. So then you just say, well, what I have is not so bad. And that's how you rationalize your life. That's how you stay satisfied with your life. You just say, well, it's not so bad. And I think that's sad. So don't be sad. Don't be sad. All right. That's it. I just wanted to leave you guys with a little message today. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. So far, for me, it's been a very busy Tuesday, which is a good thing. I've been helping a lot of people become more aware of what options they have. And so I've had a lot of conversations this morning, and it's good. And I'm going to be having many, many more. All right. Well, that is it, folks. I will hopefully see you tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So wherever you are in the country, please join me over Zoom. All right, guys. See you later.